Good morning. Morning, Michael.
Morning, sunshine. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. How about you?
Morning,
The
y'all.
Good morning.
There she is.
Yeah. Wednesdays is my accountability call, so I'm like, I have to go. Tell me what the heck you're gonna do this week, dude.
I just sent you the preliminary statement.
Cool. All right, I'll go dig into that in a little bit.
They,
Actually, I will.
He's got it set for next Wednesday.
That works out good, actually.
And well, that's why I didn't want to because of your thing. And you'll see in the email, he's said between 10 and 1 or 3 p.m. either one, whatever works.
10 to 1. I got to look at some other stuff going on, but that's probably when it's going to be perfect. Thank you.
Just let me know. And then I
Oh,
highlighted the balance that have to be transferred.
perfect. Cool beans. Wow, is it just us three? Let's do it. All right. Miss Bonetta Sunshine, tell me some good stuff.
Good morning.
Good
Good.
morning.
I don't know. Go to Mike first and let me come back. Let me
Okay, you think about your good because your good will come to you. I will do my good and then we'll do Michael with his good. Let me see.
That sounds good.
I had 2 people make it through the gauntlet yesterday, thank God, of onboarding. So that's good. And I still have 2, 3, 4, 5 in, like they filled out the application. We're just waiting on, various things. And my new norm seems to be 5 that we're pushing through at any given time, which is cool. I like that. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are hot. I probably should clean that list up and maybe tweak it a little bit, but yeah, I've got 7 that are hot. And then maybe another 50 that are, I don't know what we call them, slightly better than lukewarm. Actually that other one's a challenge, but I think I have it. So actually, I think I do have it solved. One of my challenges has been that I struggle with follow-up, really struggle with follow-up. And I'm like, oh God. And on my accountability buddy, which is David Edwards on the team that I adore, sat down and he's like, so what is it? And I'm like, well, they say that you're supposed to invite to classes. I'm like, but I never know what classes are going to be good. And I'm picky. And I know there's always a good nugget in anything. You sometimes have to filter through it, but there's always a good nugget in there, even if the teacher, whatever, sucks. I mean, like, humble yourself a little bit and find it. It's in there. But when I was with Keller Williams, I know exactly who the good speakers were. And so if I was ever going to invite, I'd be like, you need to go to this one. Like, this is class A, amazing. In EXP, I don't know who they all are yet or who enough of them are yet. So I'm hesitant on inviting to stuff. And I was like, and David goes, why don't you talk to John Kitchens? Why don't you talk to this person, talk to that person and find out who the good speakers are? I'm like, that's brilliant. So that's my success. It's not even really a success yet, but I'm going to find out who those speakers are and build up my follow-up around those so that I've got something weekly that I can get people invited to every single week. So there you go. I consider that a success, even though it's not built yet. It's still on a sticky to do. All right, Michael, tell me some good news.
Did my appointment last night.
Yeah.
Did not list it.
Okay.
Them selling the house is not right for them. So I'm going to talk to them. I've already talked to them, but I'm going to talk to the mortgage. They really just, in their situation, they just need to refinance it, not sell it. So
Gotcha.
didn't get the listing, but he works for the big gas company, so I'll probably get 4 or 5 referrals out of him.
Well, if it makes sense for the client, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That makes you a good agent, you know?
Well, yeah, it's just, I mean, they need to refinance to coop in some bills and stuff. They don't need to sell it and walk away because they're not going to go. And if he's living in a 2,000 square foot house on an acre with a pool, I mean, it's a nice house, wood floors through everywhere and all. And she was brokenhearted, about to cry. Yeah, so I said, look, so once I started talking, I didn't do my presentation. I talked to him, and once I got got to questioning, finding out what the issues are. And he's an asshole, but he's got a good heart. So him and I butted heads a little bit until I got him straightened out. Well, actually, that's what I told him. I looked at him and said, "You're just an asshole, but you got a good heart." And that shut him up. And from then on, he was in just putty in my hands. And then she was just grinning from ear to ear when I said that. But yeah, so I didn't do the listing. It was just a matter of it wasn't right for them. So I got to connect them in with my mortgage girl and Flo and see if I can get her a loan out of it at least.
Cool beans. Cool beans. I think that, yeah, that's a big, greater service that you did by far. And it
Well,
will
he's,
affect you. It
like I
always
said,
does.
he's in a big company, a gas company,
Mhm.
and I'll get 4 or 5 referrals out of him. And
Yep. Well, yeah, because they know that you're honest and it's going to do what's best for them.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yep.
We
All right,
do.
Banana, you got your good news yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, you have some good news, and then we'll, after we're done with good news, we'll deal with your situation.
Well, I got my Louisiana land moving, so that's good news. And I made contact with Neil yesterday, and I got my Houston client. I'm going to see about getting her pre-qualified so I can move on that in Sugar Land. And I got my website set up so I can get my other 2 potential clients moving. But I've been having some other issues about my big client who has the land in Louisiana, but also is driving me crazy here. And I've got to fire her or renegotiate my rate. So.
All right. All right. You're going to be up, and as soon as we dig into challenges, Kathy, darling, what's your good news?
I went and met with the people that are the investors yesterday up in Winchester. Talked to them, looked at the property, saw where they're at with it, all those kinds of things. I did talk to Gary very briefly. I did make a call in to the attorney very briefly. Other than that, it's going to be up to me because that's pretty much what Gary said, based on what I'd said. And I'm going to ask him for the numbers because we haven't talked about that, but I think I'm probably going to do it.
If Gary said it's up to you, because Gary has told me no.
Yeah.
He also
Well,
said, you can do whatever you want to do, but I would never do that. And here's why. And I'm like, fair enough, not doing it.
yeah. I was kind of surprised that Gary kind of just, because I don't even have the numbers,
Mhm.
Their numbers, like the project numbers and stuff like that. So I was kind of surprised that it's only 4 months. That's a really good rate, and that's about all he said.
Mhm.
So I'm going to dig through some of my files and find a contract that I've used in the past and have them sign that. They're going to check and see if they can add me on their insurance policy, if there's something in the building's gone, because that was something that one of the people that I've done business with did, and it made me feel really comfortable.
Mhm.
They're really antsy about doing anything that puts a lien on them because of the other things they have in place right now. And I told them, I said, to be honest, it's sort of a moot point because, and I said, and I know you know this, because one, I would be in second place. And if anything goes wrong at that point, they're going to get paid before I even get a dime.
Mhm.
And she said, yeah. She said, I just don't want anything to get messed up. And I said, I understand that. And unless I see stuff going south and you're not coming through, I won't put it in there.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's where that is.
Cool beans. All right,
Yeah.
Banana, you're on.
I'm on.
Yep.
I'm leaving tomorrow morning to go to my nephew's wedding. Good news. Yay. I haven't seen nephews in a while, so that's good news.
It is good news. All right, let's do a challenges, Kay. Tell us what you got.
I made the mistake of checking my email last night, and I have an investor client, and she wants to divest of all her properties. And she has, millions of dollars of properties. And I listed her land in Louisiana and got that going. But she has a property manager that is just horrible. And I have been talking to her, and I got her to the point, and we were ready to set up with an automatic system yesterday. I picked up 2 more rental contracts for her because my agreement was I'd help her rent these things as long as I got the right to sell everything. Well, last night her property manager has delayed with this client, and it's taken over 2 months to get a lease signed. The lease was supposed to be signed on Monday, and they were supposed to move in this week. Thursday was the move-in date. The property manager did not get the lease signed. This poor client has had to live in a hotel, now has run through their savings and doesn't think they have enough for the deposit and wants to walk out.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't do this anymore. I can't subject people to her property manager and how long it takes her to get stuff done. And I'm just done. I'm done. And I've got to tell her, and it's not fair. It's not right. It's just morally and ethically wrong, and I can't do it. And I've got to have the conversation with her. I've told her, I said, pay me and I'll do the property man. Pay me, I'll do it. But I can't do it for what I'm doing now. So that's where I am, and any help you can give me, I would appreciate it.
Come on, Michael, I know you're waiting right there.
I think Kay already said everything she needs to say.
Yeah, I mean, I admire what you're doing, but for me, the word would be next.
Yeah.
Next one.
I hear you on the next, and aren't we talking like 250 properties?
Yeah, at least 100.
Well, that 100 properties to sell individually.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's time to put my kissing buckle on.
Bingo.
Never mind. So no, yeah, I guess in that situation, I would probably do like you just said. I would get my composure together. I would put me a script together. I'd memorize my script, and I would go meet face to face with that person, and I would lay it out on the line. But the different thing that I do that I find hurt me when I did it the other way. Whenever I criticize or condemn anybody, it hurt me.
It
So
bites me.
what I always do now, for instance, one of my expired script is introduce myself and say, hey, my records indicated that your house is for sale, left the market unsold. Is that true? They say yes, and I say, well, do you think that's because of your agent or the house? So instead of me telling your agent was an idiot, they tell me. So I wouldn't criticize them. And I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but find a way to get her to talk about that agent. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's really good in that. I really like that. I like some of the stuff you said. The first one is face-to-face and getting your script ready and what you're going to say. I completely do that. I just ran into a situation yesterday where I had to call an agent, should have called him Monday and didn't. Not someone on the team yet. And anyway, and then the second thing that I like that you said, which that's one I do my script and all that kind of stuff. But the second thing I like that I don't do, which I think is brilliant, is asking the question, do you think it's this or this? And let them draw their own conclusion, because our brains can't have an unanswered question. It just swirls in there.
Well, my theory of it is people don't want to be controlled, even though that's what I'm doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Did it to you?
Everybody, he who asks the most questions controls the conversation and leads it down wherever they want it to go.
Correct. Yeah. And I try to make it where they think they are in control. But like you said, I try to ask the questions to get them to tell me things. But the one thing that I learned, when I ask you a question, you're going to answer my question. I'm not moving on. You might go on a rampage, but when you're done, I'll say, can I ask you about that? And then I'll ask that question again. Did you think it was the house or the agent? And all I do is ask the same question. And every time I ask it, I get slower and slower and slower. And then they eventually answer it. But I won't move on until I get that. I found that that works. But like I said, I mean, in that case, a little ass kissing is probably not a bad thing for the income you're going to end up with. So that's my opinion.
I believe in the face-to-face 1,000%. I love asking the question. I think I would okay, so here's what I personally hate. I hate it when people like pussyfoot around it. My mother used to do this whenever she had bad news. She'd call me up and, Gina, are you sitting down? And I'm like, just like cough it up, Mom. Are you did? I'm like, Mom, stop. Right. So I dislike that intensely. I like when people are much more direct. However, that being said, I really look for the positive in what I'm presenting and how to make this something that they want as well. So I really look for that. This is going to give you this, and and it takes me a while to find it, but I'm usually pretty good at finding it so that I can give one of my skills is and I know I have it, is I can deliver bad news so that you're really, really excited and you're happy about it. And you like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So I'm going to look for the positive on their side. I do think that property manager who's not doing her any good on any level needs to be gone. And I'm not understanding why she's keeping her, but she is resistant. Do you know why she's keeping her?
It's fear-based. I mean, she came to me and complained about, and I kind of knew the property manager was bad, but now I've had personal experiences over and over and over again. And I've told her, I said, she's got to go. We can't do this. I said, you're losing clients, you're using this. And she's agreed. She's fear-based because she's afraid she can't find somebody else. My approach, what I was going to say is, okay, look, let me get this tenant network automatic processing set up for you. I'll do, you pay for it. I'll do it. And because I gave her 2 contracts yesterday and I don't want them going to this other person. And I'm going to tell her that this morning, let me do that. You said, property manager was worth 5%. If you'll pay me 5%, I'll do this. Get Anna completely out of the process. I don't want any other clients going before her. This is not right. I mean, I don't know. I've got to unwind because I'm so upset.
Agreed. Another question I think I might ask is, how much money has Anna cost you?
Oh, I've been over that with her over and over. I said, this woman has cost you at least.
No, don't tell her.
Don't tell her. I'm telling. Okay.
Yeah. You're telling. Instead, I want you to ask. I think that I'm telling you what to do.
That's okay.
I don't want to be that person. I think, do you think that if you're asking the question and she's actually doing the math of how many clients, how many properties, how much money in delayed months, and then after you have the basics, what else has that maybe cost you? Maybe your reputation, maybe being able to rent your other stuff. When I look at the cost of a bad hire, we used to do this in Keller Williams. We would do the cost of a bad hire, even just 3 months of the wrong person. What was the potential that I probably lost also because this person botched it and I couldn't do my job. And if I can't do my job, and I'm averaging, 10 people a month, and 10 people a month are worth $800 per person, and that's $8,000. And then they might have referred 2 extras, and you start to push it out and keep on asking the questions and get her to come up with a dollar amount of a big dollar amount of what this person's really cost her. How long has she had this person with her?
Oh, she's been with her for, 5-7 years.
I think I would do Michael's thing of, do you think it's the house that's not the houses that are the problem, or do you think it's her? I love that. And once you get it right, I would think I might ask of how much do you think this person's, I think I would have a face-to-face calm. How much do you think this person's actually cost you? Like, let's draw this out a little bit. And what you want to do, if she's fear-based, and we all have it in us, we all do, then I think I might take her to a really fearful place of why you're staying here is way scarier than you making the decision to just switch over to obviously competent Kate.
Well, she's afraid that she's going to end up in court. And Anna does this. She pushes her buttons and said, if you don't do this, you'll do this. If you don't, she threatens her.
Anna is putting her in jeopardy of court.
That's what I'm going to tell her. I'm going to say, do you realize that what just happened, if you went to court, you would lose?
Well,
I
I'm
would
telling
ask
her.
it again. I would say, instead of do you
Ask.
realize, I would probably ask, if this went to court, do you think you would win in this situation? Ask
If
that.
it's meant.
Yeah, really, what you really want is her answering those questions. And Kay, you're completely in control when you ask those questions, don't you think?
Yeah, I've just
See,
got
I
to
just
get
got you to
better.
do that. I just got you to agree with me.
You know, also, I would ask her if she's talked to her attorney about it. I would
Yeah, she
refer her
must
to
have
her
one.
attorney. Here's why I say that, partly from my past, but you got to be careful what you say. And if you say, or you go to court, you'll lose or you'll win, that's putting you in a jeopardy that you're saying, yeah, you know, you're going to win or lose.
Okay.
Put you in some legal issue. I mean, probably not, but it could.
Yeah,
being
I see what you're saying.
devil's advocate. So I would say, hey, you know, do you think it's the tenant? Do you think it's the house? Do you think it's the management company? And let her answer. And if you don't answer, ask it again till she answers one or the other. It's going to be the management company. She's already done to you. And then I would say to her, well, have you talked to your attorney about it? And let her spill her guts, because what that will do, and I do this, it puts in their head, oh crap, I better talk to my attorney because there may be some legal issues here that's going to cost me. And that's just my thought, you know. And again, we're not sitting in front of her and her crying or carrying on or screaming and holler either. So that whole makes a different situation. But the one thing I would suggest to you, do you have a office or a place that you can go? Not her place.
Mhm.
You got to get her out of
Neutral.
her.
Gotta be
You got to
neutral,
get her
yeah.
out of her environment. Not Starbucks. You need to be in a quiet place, out of her comfort zone, which
In
puts you in
yours.
control, and then you can have that conversation with her. Because if you're in her domain, you're going to get interruptions. She's not going to pay attention.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're,
Oh.
you're passionate about this, but can you practice this conversation maybe with Gina or somebody before you, because you're so close to it, and I know you want, it's because you want her to do well, but maybe
Yes.
you can practice it a little bit so that you can remind yourself that, you know, it's not about, it's not, well,
Not about me.
yeah, it's really about her. And I know it's because you want to do so well. You know, it's hard for us to see good people and somebody else is doing them wrong. But you gotta be calm, like Jenny said, you gotta be, because she's looking at you.
Mhm.
She's looking at you and she's fearful of this other lady. But you gotta get her wheels to turning and be calm, be, you know, get
You're
get her
guiding.
mind thinking, just what Gina was saying. That's what I think.
Yeah, you want to guide her. Yeah.
Right,
It's like last night when I went to that meeting. That was a $10,000 paycheck.
right.
I turned it down.
Mhm.
I gave them other options. I won't make a dime on it,
Right,
but I will probably get 4 or 5 referrals, but I may not. But it was what they needed.
right.
And that's the hard part. You know, when I sat there and I'm thinking, I want the listing, damn it.
Yeah, no.
You know, I want to get paid here, but crap. So I spent 3 hours last night, appointments at 7 o'clock for them. And that's the hard part, because we're in a business. I mean, you
Right.
go to Walmart, you buy it or you don't, they don't care. In our business, to me, it's about the client. If my bills can't get paid, then that's my problem, not theirs. But I need to do what's right for them.
Right.
And you are the God. I mean, what I'm hearing from you, you're the God sent, regardless of the 100 properties, you're the God sent here
Right.
for her. So let me ask you a question.
That's what she's told me.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. You said charge 5%, 5% of monthly income. Is that the going rate in your area?
I don't know. That's what she thinks property
Well,
managers makes.
don't-
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you
This
need
is
to,
new to me.
research that, because I think it should be more like 15%,
Whoa.
in my opinion.
It's a I see 10 across the country and I see people discounting it 9, 8,
I've
sometimes
seen
7.
8. I've seen 8. I
Yeah.
haven't seen 5.
Well, let me
5
ask
sounds
you a
kinda
question.
low.
10.
15 sounds a little high, but.
All right, let me ask you all a question.
Mhm,
When
Mm.
you go on a listing presentation,
mhm,
do you charge 6%? Do you
yes.
charge 5%? What do you
I
charge?
charged, when I was doing it, I charged 6, as high as 10 if it was land, and that's just what I did because the price point was low, but it was between 6 and 10, and I took my listings at 6, but I kept 3.5 and gave away 2.5. That's
Yeah.
usually what I charge. By the way, we can talk commission, it's just us.
Yeah.
'Cause we're
Well,
all
I'm
on
just,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, what are you worth? I guess is what I'm trying to get out there. What are you worth to do the management? Because it's a pain in the ass.
Or, and, yes, and the fact that you're going to get the listing as soon as they're coming up, because that factors into this as well. As a portion. of-
Maybe they never sell them.
Well, if she keeps up doing what she does, the other thing that I'm having trouble with is the properties need work. And I've referred her like 3 or 4 contractors, and she's very cheap and she won't pay. And she has this one guy that charges her a ridiculously low rate, but he's never available. So her properties are sitting empty because she can't get them fixed.
How much is this costing her?
I've been
Exactly.
over that with you so many times. How much?
Yep,
Exactly.
yep. Don't tell her, make her sit there and write down 14 properties, every month what I could be collecting on those, da, 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 and let's start adding this puppy up.
Okay.
Hey, Kay, can you also project how much more she could lose? Say does she have a contract with this property manager?
No,
Right.
no.
Okay, well then how is she legally bound to her? If
Exactly.
there's no
She's
contract.
not, she's just so fearful of not having, she doesn't understand the computer. She has relied on this person, to help her fix things up. She delegates everything.
This-
And
Okay,
she's just very fearful. And I've said, we could find you someone so fast.
But she likes and trusts you, right?
Yes.
How long have you been working with her?
Probably about, it'll be a year in August.
Does she
Yeah.
know that you do property management?
Pardon?
Does she know that you do property management?
Well, I've told her I can do it. Gary said until I get my license, I can only do one client. He said I have another client who has talked to me about it, but they've only got one property. And he said, if you're going to do it with Corrine.
I was gonna say, because Neil also has a broker's license, and so you could talk to Neil about maybe using his broker's license. In Texas, I'm not sure what the laws are, but usually it requires a broker's license to have stuff go underneath.
Okay.
I think Neil, find out what it
Yeah.
requires in Texas, and Neil may just flat out know. But I know he's got his brokers. And so you might be able to work a deal with him.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I think the consensus is to face-to-face, not in her environment, more in your environment.
Right.
Questions, come up with your script ahead of time of kind of the questions that you want to ask. Michael uses a technique where he lets them rant and rave and then re-asks the question, slows it down. I use a technique where I let them rant and rave. I re-ask the question, but I reword it a little bit. So, but we're doing the same thing. We're just doing the same thing. We're basically sticking to our script. That's basically what we're doing. We're sticking to our script, and then really make sure that you can come at it from a calm, guiding, because the truth of the matter really is, if you really examine it, what you're doing is protecting this person and keeping them safe for their own best fiduciary interest, which is what our job is. And this other person is hurting them. And the only reason they're allowing it is because they're fearful. And we have to help them understand that this person is preying upon them. And we want to be able to make sure that we can help them get away from the preying person, because basically it sounds like that's what she's got. She's got a predator.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So not easy yet. Good. Very good. You're doing some really good work here. Really good work. And once you, and I strongly believe that, one, we're paid in direct proportion to the problems we solve. And two, at some day you'll be able to turn, like something else bigger will come along and you're like, I dealt with this, I can go deal with that. It just always works that way. It just does. And I went to yesterday when I could not make my phone call with the girl. Well, I could. I just was like, I'm buckling down on how to do it. I focused in. I read my book, my little devotional, which was very clear about God is in charge and he puts stuff in front of you. And when you're freaking out, you're worried about stuff that hasn't even happened yet. And you're not supposed to be doing that. And let's let him take control. And I was like, okay, and made the phone call and said, hey, look, you got a second? I have some bad news. I have some news to tell you. She goes, it doesn't sound good. I said, it's not great. And then we just went through it. I'm like, here's your options. And that was part of it also. Here's your options. We can do this or we can do that. And what do you want to do? You know, and you know, we're meeting again on Thursday and we're going to hone it down. And she is choosing to do the one that I wanted her to choose that I thought would be best for her. And if it works, it works. And the other part was me divorcing myself from the outcome, because it's not me or my life, it's her and her life. And so whatever she chooses is going to be best for her. I really hope she chooses one, but if she doesn't, she doesn't. It's okay. You know? So yeah, Kathy, what you got?
I just wanted to ask Kay if her MLS association allows them to rent a room or use a room there, because that might be a good place to meet her.
Oh, Regis also. Regis, MLS, title, escrow. Like
Yeah.
if I know it's going to close 100 deals or thought I might want to call title and go, I need a room.
Yeah, someplace like that, so that it's
Business.
in case you're wondering, and it's something totally neutral, but more in your area than anything.
Yep. Yeah, you're home. All right, guys.
I got something really good, really quick. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought of three things. Okay, so an investor reached out to me yesterday that I had connected with on Connected Investor. Another mentee called me yesterday that wants me to mentor them. And third, another lady from my webinar that I had called that did not attend reached out to me and said, I'm so glad you followed up with me. And so we're having a call today. Ta-da!
Ta-da! That's Benetta coming at the tail end with some good news. Nice job. All right, you guys have amazing week. Kay, excellent point of conversation. Thank you for
Very
bringing it.
good.
Your hands up again,
Good
Michael.
luck. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback.
You're so welcome, sweetie.
I'm
Bye.
making my list of questions.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.